Hello, my name is Christina Siry, and I'm a professor of learning and instruction at the University of Luxembourg. I'm very happy to have the chance to participate in the 2022 Early Childhood Voices Conference, and to share this presentation with you titled Resource-Rich Perspectives on Children's Embodied Engagement in Science Inquiry. My interests are in early childhood education and relatedly in teacher education, in particular as relevant for science teaching and learning. And in this presentation, I look across various studies conducted in my team over the years to elaborate what we're learning about children's interactions in science. I'd like to begin by thanking the organizers for the invitation to participate in this exciting and important conference, and to express my gratitude for their immense kindness and support through the process of developing this contribution. I hope this presentation leaves you with new perspectives on the value of providing time and space for children to participate in science inquiry, and with new reflections regarding the inherent complexities of children's science learning and engagement. I live and work in Luxembourg, a small country in Europe with a total population of just over 625,000 and an area of roughly 2,500 square kilometers. Despite its small size, Luxembourg has one of the highest population growth rates in Europe, coupled with one of the highest population densities in Europe, and further, one of the highest densities of non-national residents in Europe, with over 170 different nationalities represented. I'm a teacher educator working with pre- and in-service teachers, and my focus is on the early years of schooling, which in Luxembourg is optional from age 3 and mandatory from age 4. Our school system is trilingual, and as such, the curriculum is taught in Luxembourgish, German, or French, depending on the grade level and the subject area. For children coming to school speaking Luxembourgish, the additional 2 languages can already be challenging, as children are learning basic literacy in German at the same time as they're learning the German language. For children with other language backgrounds, this is even more challenging. Our work is in science education, which is to be instructed in Luxembourgish beginning in kindergarten, and then in German beginning in 1st grade, which results in a high and increasing percentage of children learning science in a language they're also learning at the same time. Luxembourg's linguistic and cultural diversity is at the core of the work that my team and I do, as we conduct research focusing on the use of language, communicative resources, and voice in early childhood science learning contexts. Here we all are, and what you see here is a group of teachers, researchers, teacher educators, and support staff, and we all collaborate through our work in the SciTeach Center, a resource center dedicated to supporting science education in Luxembourg's primary and pre-primary school contexts. The teacher education at the SciTeach Center emerges from the specific needs and contexts and is developed through a collective and participatory process, and we strive towards a sustainable and relational teacher education practice. An important component of the SciTeach Center is our Teacher Leader Initiative, in which we work with classroom teachers to co-develop and co-teach professional development for other teachers. Together, we focus on creating structures to support plurilingual students' engagement in science, and we use critical theoretical lenses for examining how the resources that students bring to classroom interactions shape how they can participate in science education. Through numerous studies in different contexts, we've examined the ways that young children participate in science, which we position as embodied engagement with phenomena, a process that is done in interaction. This perspective allows us to work towards resource-rich approaches on children's science engagement, perspectives that we then bring to our teacher education practice. We seek to understand and valorize the complexities of what young students can know, do, and wonder, and as such, we use dialogic approaches to pedagogy to provide opportunities for children to participate in science in open-ended ways. A dialogic classroom environment is relational and reciprocal, and meanings are contextualized as teachers and children listen to each other and exchange ideas. We work towards open-ended approaches to science inquiry to shed light on children's understandings and to support building on these in science teaching and linking to children's sense of wonder and curiosity. We utilize a range of methodologies in different studies as we work towards equitable practices in science education with plurilingual young students. And on the overall, we're interested in the ways in which the structures in classrooms shape and shift how children can agentically participate in science investigations, and how they can express and build upon their understandings and wonderings. And as such, we try to pay attention to how the methodologies and methods that we use can highlight or obscure the resources that students bring to the classroom. Early childhood science education is inherently complex, and we hope to highlight the many resources that children bring to the classroom, with a central focus on valuing students' nonverbal participation. To that end, my fabulous colleague Sarah Willems and I have refined a method of multimodal interaction analysis to examine students' and teachers' communication and situation, which has allowed us to gain new understandings about plurilingual students' participation in science practices. If this is something you'd like to hear more about, we have prepared a different presentation for this conference in which we elaborate the details of this methodological approach. One thing to mention here, with a view towards this conference theme, is that our analysis typically focuses first on the nonverbal to reveal communicative resources that might be otherwise obscured by analysis rooted in the verbal. And this provides us with an expanded notion of voice as we engage in a process of moving between the nonverbal and the verbal, with the entry point into the data resources being dependent on the emergent focus. So I'd now like to briefly weave together several strands of research to provide a lens for understanding the resources that children draw upon as they participate in science education. We strive to highlight and valorize the many resources that children draw on when they engage in science, and to do so, we build case studies of plurilingual students as we try to understand how dialogue and open-ended science exploration unfold in early childhood classrooms. And our research is revealing how such pedagogical approaches to open-ended science exploration, embedded in dialogue and interaction, can support children's embodiment, engagement, agency, and voice within science exploration and discovery as children collaborate, investigate, communicate, and make meanings together and with materials. So drawing together multiple strands of our research enables weaving together claims from these different case studies, and several key assertions can be made from looking across our research projects over time. Here are just a few examples of some of our publications to help ground these points. Our studies use a range of methodologies, and they seek to highlight the diversity of resources that children bring to interaction, in particular the relations between dialogue, documentation, and learning. And we find that dialogic pedagogies reveal student wonderings and mediate the engagement of resources, as they provide inclusive opportunities to make, document, and communicate meaning and interaction with others. We found that such approaches expand children's engagement while relatedly supporting development of their language competencies. In that process, diverse and dialogic documentation approaches provide a key and important space for interaction, a process which is both individual as well as collective, and which supports meaning-making as well as communication opportunities. And in seeking to understand these related processes, multimodal methodologies can highlight children's embodied participation and support such research-rich perspectives on children, as they allow for shining a light on the diverse, often nonverbal ways in which children make and express meanings and wonderings, and the wide range of resources that they draw on to do so. In sum, the methodologies that we have developed support expanded notions of voice as something that is much more than spoken, and multimodal perspectives embrace the embodied and material ways in which children's voice and agency in science evolves. Young children bring a diversity of resources to their science explorations, and providing opportunities for open-ended investigation can provide an interactional space that supports student engagement and meaning-making. Openly exploring phenomena can provide a great way to wonder about science and for children to pursue related questions. And our work highlights the importance of creating open spaces for children to engage with phenomena and for listening to and valuing young children's ideas and wonderings. I hope that this presentation has prompted new perspectives on the value of providing time and space for children to engage in science inquiry and with new reflections regarding the embodied ways in which children express their understandings and pursue their wonderings. Please contact me with any questions or if you'd like to discuss any of the points I've raised herein. And thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time participating in the conference.